came out on Colin Cowherd. Now this is pertaining to the Browns saying they developing quarterbacks.
Tom Brady just lit up the league. Did he basically accuse the Cleveland Browns of sabotaging? He all but said Cleveland can't develop quarterbacks, and fans instantly knew who he meant. In one interview, he pulled the curtain back. Some teams aren't failing young QBs. They are. If that's true, Shedeur never got a fair shot. Tossed into chaos, blamed for the results, left to sink on his own. Shedeur Sanders setting them up to fail. Now the question is everywhere. Did the Browns sabotage their own future and think nobody would notice? This didn't come from a random burner. It came while Brady was talking quarterback development calm and measured. Then boom, a line that froze timelines. It started quiet on the herd with Colin Cowherd. Nothing spicy, just development talk. And then Brady dropped it. There's a lot of people who have no idea what they're doing when they're tasked with coaching a quarterback. One sentence, and every eye swung to Cleveland. Because if the shoe fits, it's stomping on a season right now. That's all it took. One sentence, and the internet exploded. Within minutes, fans connected the dots. Cleveland, Shedeur Sanders, sabotage. Brady never said names, but he didn't have to. He spoke about coaches ranked 32nd out of 32, about young quarterbacks getting zero guidance, and about teams pretending to develop talent while quietly destroying it from the inside. And to casual fans, it sounded like a league-wide rant.
Everybody knows how to develop a quarterback. You're assuming that you're going into a program. I mean, I'm telling you, this is not. There's a lot of people who have no idea what they're doing when they're tasked with coaching a quarterback or calling an offense. So are you saying, I mean, just like we'd rank quarterbacks 1 to 32, do you rank offensive coordinators 1 to 32? Do you rank quarterback coaches 1 to 32? Well, what if you have the 32nd ranked coordinator in someone's mind, or the 32nd ranked quarterback coach? How is he getting a level of development that the guy who's first is getting?
But to anyone following the Browns, it hit way too close. Chaotic coaching, mixed signals, and a rookie quarterback treated like a burden instead of a blueprint. The reaction? Instant. Clips of the segment flooded X. Analysts pairing Brady's words with footage of Shedeur standing on the sideline during drills. By sundown, hashtag Brady exposes the Browns was trending league-wide. It wasn't just critique, it was a warning shot.
Let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance with the play calling. You know you have an offensive line that isn't playing that well. So what do? Why not just play the short game so he can get the ball out of his hands very fast to run a competent goddamn offense? Outside of that, Shedeur has to be better in understanding that the offensive line that you're working with right now is not adequate. Why not allow the players that are competing for a job, in this instance, Shedeur Sanders, to finish off the 2 minutes?
Brady said out loud what players whisper privately. The NFL doesn't have a player development problem. It has a coaching crisis. And no team embodies that more than Cleveland, the franchise that hits reset every offseason and calls it growth while chaos runs the show. This is where theory turns into reality. Because when you look at how Cleveland's handled Shedeur Sanders, it's hard not to call it what it is, a setup. He's barely seen first-team reps, stuck running drills with third stringers, then suddenly tossed into live action and told to prove himself. No rhythm, no chemistry, no preparation. That's not development. That's sabotage disguised as opportunity. Even veteran analysts are calling it out. You don't build a quarterback by isolating him from starters and then blaming him when it falls apart. Yet the media keeps twisting it. Shedeur's not ready. He's distracted. He's struggling to adapt. Of course he's struggling. The system's broken. It's like asking someone to fly a plane after removing the wings. Brady recognized it immediately. He lived through chaos but had real structure and mentors. Shedeur, he's surrounded by people who talk development but don't deliver. And that's why Brady's words detonated the internet. He wasn't speaking hypothetically. He was describing Cleveland. Within hours, clips of the segment went viral, and hashtag Brown Sabotage was trending across NFL Twitter. Cleveland's local media tried to defend the team and instantly made it worse. Instead of addressing Brady's point, they went after Shedeur, calling him entitled, unfocused, not ready for the pros. Classic misdirection. Blame the player, protect the system. But this time, fans weren't fooled. Every clip, every quote, every offhand comment from Brown's staff suddenly looked suspicious.
Shedeur Sanders. And I'm going to tell you why. I think he's being set up to fail. That's right, I'm going to say it. Okay. Here we are on national television, right? There's been 11 practices, if I remember correctly. He's been starting against he's been playing against the third unit. He's fourth on the depth chart. and then suddenly you throw him into the start lineup, and he hasn't had any reps with the first team at all. Think about that. So you're just gonna throw him to the wolves like that, huh? I mean, you know, if he had first team snaps in practice.
Why was Shedeur kept from first team reps? Why was he doing interviews if the team claimed he wasn't part of their plan? And why did ownership act like they barely knew who he was? Then Stephen A. Smith entered the chat, and the story detonated. He didn't just agree with Brady. He called it entrapment, saying the Browns didn't give Shedeur a chance to succeed, they set him up to fail. When Louis Riddick backed him with data on reps and coaching structure, the debate ended. For the first time, people saw Cleveland not as cursed, but as culpable. The pattern was undeniable. If every quarterback fails, maybe the problem isn't the player, it's the system. And that's exactly what Brady wanted everyone to understand. In the NFL, players get graded in public, but coaches hide behind excuses. The pattern never changes because accountability never climbs up the ladder. Brady's message was simple, but devastating. You can't expect elite results from average coaching. You can't judge a quarterback who was never truly taught. And that's what makes Shedeur Sanders' situation so painful. This isn't about talent. It's about a system built to fail him while pretending it's helping. Then came the quote that turned bad optics into a full-blown scandal. Browns owner Jimmy Haslam casually admitted he didn't even know about Shedeur's signing. Not forgot, not misspoke. He said the decision wasn't his. The coaching staff handled it. The owner of an NFL franchise with millions invested in quarterbacks had no idea his team brought in one of the most talked about prospects in the country. That's not leadership. That's chaos in a suit. Suddenly, Brady's words made perfect sense. If the top doesn't know what's happening, how can anyone below develop a quarterback? It's like running a company where the CEO doesn't know who was just hired. The Browns tried spinning it. The usual trust the process, PR fluff, but the timing made it worse. Coming right after Brady's comments, it sounded less like confidence and more like a cover-up. Fans noticed, and Haslam's gaffe quickly became proof that nobody in Cleveland is actually steering the ship. None of it made sense, unless you believe Brady's theory. That's when public sentiment flipped. What started as Shedeur's not ready became, are the Browns setting him up? The internet connected the dots faster than the team could issue statements. Conspiracy threads turned into trending topics, and even players from other teams were liking posts calling out Cleveland's fake development.
I don't say that.
Why is the third quarterback getting interviewed? You got nothing to do with the game. Okay, it's all for media clicks. And, he's a heck of a personality, but the personality can't come out until you do something on the field. And, it's a big week for Dylan Gabriel and a big week for the Browns. I mean, making that transition for him even be available to the press.
Suddenly, this wasn't a local drama. It was a national headline, because if the GOAT says something smells off, fans start sniffing, and the deeper people looked, the uglier it got. Shedeur wasn't just struggling, he was being isolated, denied top reps, given no structure, and then blamed for the fallout. In the social media era, that's all it takes. One Brady quote turned a rookie's rough start into a public trial, and this time, the one on the stand wasn't the player, it was the franchise. Here's what makes this sting even more. Tom Brady was once Shedeur Sanders, a late-round pick, doubted, ignored, barely given reps. He sat, waited, learned in silence while the football world looked the other way. The difference? Brady had coaches who actually believed in development. Bill Belichick and Dick Ribine didn't just evaluate Brady, they built him. They gave him structure, patience, and accountability. When his quarterback coach tragically passed during camp, Belichick personally stepped in. That's how seriously they took growth. Now compare that to Cleveland, where Shedeur's in the exact same position Brady once was, except his coaches seem more invested in politics than progress. No mentorship, no leadership, no plan, just buzzwords like competition and evaluation. That's the cruel irony Brady recognizes. He knows how fragile a young quarterback's early years are, and how easily greatness gets destroyed when no one cares enough to nurture it. And Shedeur Sanders might just be the newest victim of that cycle.
I don't know why he's doing it.
You tell me, you know how that works. Is that the front office? Is that the comms team? Like, who's putting him out? So we're saying it's not really on him. We have to protect him. He's a young player.
Yep.
Why are we making him available?
Exactly. To me, I mean, there's no sense to have him available.
Walking into a franchise that preaches growth but delivers confusion. When things go south, the blame always lands on the player, never the plan. That's why Brady's words hit so deep. He wasn't ranting, he was sounding the alarm. If the NFL keeps protecting coaches instead of developing players, it'll keep losing future stars before they even have a chance. Maybe it's time to stop rebuilding quarterbacks and start rebuilding coaches. In a league obsessed with talent, the real issue isn't who's under center, it's who's holding the clipboard. So now the question isn't if Tom Brady was right, it's how long the NFL can ignore him. When the greatest quarterback of all time says the system is broken, you don't shrug that off, you listen. Cleveland can spin and deny all they want, but the damage is done. The league just got a front row seat to how fragile development really is and how quickly it becomes sabotage when accountability disappears. Shedeur didn't ask to be part of a controversy. He just wanted a fair shot. And maybe that's what Brady's trying to give him, not through coaching, but through truth. Because when a legend exposes the system, he's not protecting one player. He's warning everyone still trapped inside. So here's the real question. If the GOAT can spot sabotage from the outside, how many young quarterbacks are being set up from within?
Kevin Stefanski gave us an update on the injury situation for the Browns.
Dylan Gabriel's dealing with a little bit of tightness in his hamstring, so he'll be limited a bit. And then Shedeur, he's good. Was sore in his arm and his thrown shoulder, but getting treatment and he should be fine.
Cleveland and Browns just took decades of drama, tossed it in a blender, smashed the chaos button, and watched it explode across national TV. Out of nowhere, whispers started flying that Shedeur Sanders might actually start for Cleveland, and within hours, the whole league was spiraling. Analysts were melting down live on air. Fans were rushing online to mock up custom Sanders jerseys like it was a royal coronation. And the Browns front office started acting like this was all part of some galaxy brain master plan, when, if we're being honest, it looks a lot more like a social experiment that lost the plot. This isn't a routine quarterback shuffle. This is an identity crisis in cleats. The Browns didn't light a spark. They dropped a match in a gas tank, because the real question isn't if Shedeur plays. It's how soon the hype crushes the franchise that created it. And it all kicked off with one sentence, one casual slip from Deion Sanders that turned the rumor mill into a jet engine.
Number one, Deion Sanders spilling the tea, as they say. Is it giving the tea? Drinking the tea? Hell, who knows? I don't know what the kids say these days. To hell with it. He's talking about Shedeur. He was hanging on the New Heights podcast with Jason and Travis Kelce, joking, storytelling, being prime, when he let it slip, hinting his son's time might be coming soon. One fatherly nudge, and the internet treated it like a coded message to Berea. Sports blogs instantly twisted it into Deion says Shedeur should start in Cleveland.
Deion did this week what NFL teams honestly were afraid that he was going to do. He did nothing wrong, but this is what they were afraid of. He was on the New Heights podcast with Jason and Travis Kelce and commented on his son, Shedeur, who's, of course, a quarterback on the Cleveland Browns.
Talk shows ran it like a breaking news Kyron, and suddenly a dad answering like any dad would was recast as football prophecy. Deion didn't demand, didn't shade, didn't posture. He spoke, and the sports world did what it always does with him. It panicked, overreacted, and set itself on fire, and here's the thing, he might not be wrong. Behind closed doors, the Browns are reportedly clawing for anything to rescue an offense that can't get out of its own way. So when Prime's hint dropped, it hit different. Fans didn't hear eventually, they heard soon. Every missed throw from Joe Flacco, every stalled drive with Dylan Gabriel, every fumbled exchange, every route collision started to sound like one drumbeat rolling over Lake Erie. It's almost time. Right now, the Browns look like a team that accidentally hit self-destruct and lost the instructions.
She's spitting a little. Guess who is now in the name or in the mouth pause of Mary Kay Cabot? It's Shedeur Sanders again. It's a Cleveland.com sports. Now, a lot of people, I think, might use an excuse of, well, Deion Sanders talked about it. Nah, Deion Sanders was asked by NFL players about another NFL player.
Offense feels like improv with everybody reading a different script. Routes cross like Friday traffic, protections fray, timing phrase. And by the time the play collapses, the booth is already searching for polite synonyms for disaster. The defense, they're performing weekly miracles, suffocating legit offenses, flipping fields with turnovers, dragging the roster toward a result, only to watch the offense hand it back like a bad punchline. You can see the fatigue in their faces walking off after another 3 and out. Shoulders slump, eyes ask, what more do you want us to do? Fans feel it too. This city has lived this loop so long they can spot the ending by the first TV timeout. They paint the stadium orange and brown, roar themselves hoarse through 3 quarters. And by the 4th, you catch those quiet glances toward the exits. The ritual of hope meeting habit. Rooting in Cleveland isn't just support, it's survival.
And now the media is jumping on it. I want to point a few things out. First thing I want to point out is obviously Shedeur doesn't get any playing time. He's doing this and that. The Browns know what they got though. The Browns are getting their click. So.
And Dion certainly thinks that there is going to be a world in which.
And then there's Joe Flacco, the veteran presence, the steady hand, the calm in a storm until the ball is snapped. Every drop back moves like it's happening in wet cement. Every scramble feels like a refrigerator attempting ballet. And too many throws either die halfway or sail into the next county. It's not hateful, it's just the tape. Leadership is great, but leadership without velocity is karaoke football. The melody looks familiar, but the music's gone. The coaching staff keeps preaching trust the process, but the score keeps preaching something else. Drives are wasted, rhythm evaporates, and another afternoon of elite defensive work dissolves into sighs. Cameras know the beat now. They're already on the sideline before the punt leaves the foot, framing the same shot.
Shedeur's mentality, folks, is he truly believes he can be a franchise quarterback. That's what he wants to be. That's what the experts said he would be leading up to the draft. If you watch one of his press conferences, he literally said, if you're not trying to change the franchise, then don't come get me. Cleveland should be excited to have a guy like that wants to do that for your franchise. I hope the Browns give him a chance later in the year because he's confident. He showed flashes in preseason. And, of course, during his...
Shedeur Sanders, helmet in hand, eyes locked, patient, observing. Flacco isn't the problem because he's a villain. He's the problem because the franchise refuses to admit he's a bridge to nowhere. He's become a comfort blanket, soft, familiar, and not keeping anyone warm. The name that keeps rolling through cold Cleveland air is the one the broadcast can't stop cutting to, Shedeur Sanders. The kid they branded not ready, the 5th-round flyer with 1st-round nerve, the one supposedly drafted for tomorrow while today crumbles in 4K. Watch him on the sideline, no phony hype, no panic, no performative clapping, just that coiled calm you recognize from Colorado. A quarterback who learned to find rhythm.
I kicked him out of the air. He tried to W me. I kicked him out of the air and I just one tap pretty much.
Cameras, critics, comparisons, the whole circus.
Yeah.
Through it all,
That's
he stayed cool,
right.
precise,
Okay,
and
and then
I'm
pretty sure
he told teams
yeah, no, I hit the cap ceiling for like I think 1,700.
Unless you're trying to change your franchise. That's not arrogant, that's clarity.
Yeah, the game was ended. Yeah, the game was ended.
They drafted a mentality, and that mentality is watching their illusion crack in real time. The media is not blind. Stephen A. skip panels
we just
all
wrote the
over
ribbon
Sunday
here
show.
because like we want to one shot them and we don't want them to pick up. And I also need real estate to like alter here.
Every 3 and out, every miss, every
Silent bombs a lot of
dive
runs,
that
but
sticks turns into
what
a
the
live
fuck
wire
ever, bro.
question.
Let's
Is
just do
this
it.
the moment when the
Let's go
switch
in
flips?
here.
It won't whisper. It'll boom.
Man, they give me the
Shedeur
triple
doesn't
threat,
just
the
play, he
bullshit,
performs.
the ass
Precision with
cheeks, like
poise,
the, oh, okay,
swagger
never mind. I rolled
without
once, I got
noise.
slow
The
steady.
same
Okay, never mind.
gravity that
Yo, I'm
turned
happy again.
Colorado
But
Saturdays
it's gonna be
into
hard to get to my
traveling
4th auto,
shows
but like,
humming beneath
if I
Cleveland's
do get
bleachers.
it,
He's not waving his arms.
it's just instantly game over.
He's letting
Oh,
destiny
he's gonna
die.
bomb.
And when
you're
it
gonna
rings,
bomb.
when that
I mean,
chin
with all that
strap
AD as
snaps,
well, like,
when
your
the
shit's
camera
gonna
catches
nuke,
the
bro.
eyes of 10
I just found out some
teammates
tech.
straight in the huddle,
I
it
can
won't feel like a
TP to my
mercy
Now
rap.
You
It will
See Me
feel
during
like
my
a
ulti,
beginning.
by the way.
Let's talk about
Oh my
Dylan
fucking
Gabriel
god.
too, because the fan
Wait, that's
base
crazy. Also,
deserves
Shrink
straight
Ray.
talk. In
I think
college,
Shrink Ray's
he
good.
looked surgical when clean,
Yeah.
calm when kept on
Dude,
script. In the
I didn't even
NFL,
know that. Oh my
the
god.
stage is
Okay,
fast,
I
the
need to try
windows
this
are
tech. This is
brutal,
so
and the
sick.
pressure doesn't
This is
blink.
actually so
He's
sick.
been undersized,
So,
hurried,
redemption
and
like up
out
here or
of sync.
something?
Too many
Oh,
snaps
okay.
feel like survival drills where the pocket turns to smoke.
Hold on,
The
I'm gonna
root
set that
picture
up.
blurs and decision time shrinks
And I'm
from
gonna do
read
like
and
this.
throw to duck and hope. That's not slander. It's what your eyes
Oh my god.
see on
Okay.
Sundays.
Oh, shit.
If I could catch it. Yeah. You see what I mean,
Don't fear
right?
the whole shot. Don't back off the blitz.
Also, I'm dead.
The
I'm dead.
coaches keep saying he's
fuck.
learning, and maybe
I
that's
low-key
true.
through,
but the defense is earning
but
while
you
he
know
learns,
the timing
and you
now, right? Like I
can't
want to
keep asking
travel.
locker room to carry
Yeah, I want to
the
travel,
ball.
and then I want to
The
just try to
Gabriel
catch him with this.
experiment bought a
You know what I
few
mean?
weeks.
Because
It did
it
not buy
extends the
faith.
duration.
The storm
And you
that's
said I
coming
need
has a
to.
name. and
Also,
the building can
it's
hear
4
it in
seconds.
the
Yeah,
crowd.
4 seconds, right? So,
Shedeur.
dude,
Yeah.
Quick breather.
Oh my
If you're
God, okay,
riding with this
okay.
breakdown and want more Cleveland truth
Accelerating,
without
no.
the
The
shield
wind,
tops and a
lightly
little bit
tap
over half,
that
that's
like
fine
so
enough.
other
I
Browns
could just go
fans
Goliath
find
here.
it. Back to the
Shit,
pressure
not.
cooker. So why
I have
now?
Goliath,
Because
dude. I can
momentum
back it.
chose now. Because
five
Dion's
bucks.
hit lined up with
I'm gonna throw a
reality.
roller, too.
Because a
Hey,
crowd
hey,
defense is
I
about
got
to
some
fracture
does
its
it?
patience. Because
nice.
ownership
Wait,
reportedly
so
wants
how does this work with
answers,
Slow
not
Steady? I would
alibis.
just get
And
like
because the
even
schedule
more.
just
You
handed
just, I
Cleveland
think
a
so.
runway.
I think
You
he's
have
double
a
that.
bye to
I think he
reset
just doubled
and
that.
a
I mean, what the
winnable
fuck ever.
opponent
Let's
to
do it.
unveil a plan. If the staff
Yeah.
chooses to do this, they can slow roll the announcement
Yeah, it's
this
just-
Friday,
Block
keep the
my
Jets
cue.
guessing, and
Yes,
give Shedeur
but
2 full weeks
I don't
of
think that's
first-team
too good.
timing. That matters.
I guess you
don't
should.
toss
I have that shit, I
poison
have that
place
shit, I have
the
that shit.
quarterback
Okay.
into a failing
Okay.
call sheet
Yo,
and call it
this is a
development. You
crazy
build a
build.
script for what
Because I
needs.
set up to
That
press the
means
attack
real
with 3 hits,
tempo,
and then the
not
4th
frantic,
just goes
but
nuclear.
assertive. Mirror
Yeah.
cut rid time and
Okay, I'm
see
setting
coverage
this up.
honesty. Flood and
I'm gonna
dagger to
ulti
punish
north.
quarters,
Do it after
sail off
my
play
now you see me.
action once the backers trigger,
Yeah.
sprint/half roll
Let's go.
to shrink the picture, and by
Boom!
vision lane,
Oh my God!
define shot for the first
Bomba clutch.
Real high
Oh my god.
Slide the protection to the
Okay,
teeth of the
so
rush
cool.
and let
I'm gonna go
him
get my
hit leverage,
health back.
Not throw into it. That's a plan.
Bro,
That's
what
Tommy's
you doing,
plan.
bro?
And the training camp
Bro, I
takes
did the
those
tech. I did the
before.
actual tech.
Read on footwork rhythm, timing on hash to bounce
Okay.
out, quick eyes from high low.
And then the fourth hit. The fourth hit. Yo, that's so much fucking damage, man. That did 11,000 damage.
Quarters of his house.
I did 11,000 damage just now.
Quarters of his
Yeah.
total house, bro.
Yeah.
None of this
I
works
might go
if the
Omni.
locker room isn't
Dude, I should
with
go
you.
Omni.
But listen carefully to what isn't said. Veterans don't need pressure to know
So
who
if I
pops
just
in
set this
practice.
shit up,
Corners know which throws
like
stretch
I can
their
legit
leverage.
angle
Safeties
this,
feel the ball
right?
arrive
Like
early
boom, boom,
before they
boom,
can
and
drop.
then
Defensive linemen watch from behind the
Wait, and then
drill
it just
and
keeps
nod
going.
because timing is a sound you can hear
Oh
when
my
the
God.
quarterback's
What's up?
right. Respect grows
Look at Mirage.
quietly.
If-
then
Yes.
all at once.
Yes.
That's been
Oh well,
happening,
and your
the
E, yeah.
crowd
With
saw
reverb, you
it.
should do
They
that. You should do
aren't
that.
bullshitting.
Yeah.
They're bargaining.
Oh,
It's
this is good, this is good.
That doesn't come from
Yo, we
me.
got the
It
tech,
comes
so
from
how much
instinct. A
AC
city
somehow-
that's lived this
I mean,
can
it's
sense
like a
when denial
fucking
needs
million,
to
dude.
end.
20% here.
Word
Like,
caution,
I don't
though,
know.
the hype can eat its
Nine-
own. If
dude,
the Browns
I'm one
flip
shy
the
of
switch
20K
and it
here.
sputters,
Fucking
the
it.
same voice is
Holy
screaming
shit,
now
okay.
would
So
suggest
Oh, he
strong.
did bust.
that's Cleveland's reflex.
Wait,
but
you
here's
can-
the
you can cast him here and
this
go around.
isn't
All the way
a
around.
I'm gonna set
desperate
this up.
son. It's the only rational
I'm gonna
test
take the
left.
gate,
Best
and
case,
then-
he nails it. The building
Oh, wait,
catches
that switched
fire,
it up.
and you sprint into
I'll angle like
December
this.
with a defense that finally has an
Wait, I'll just kill him. What's he
Worst
doing?
case,
I mean-
he learns at
he'll
full
just take
speed,
that for
and
free,
the
sure.
franchise finally knows
Very
what
nice,
it has.
very nice.
Either
if he
way,
wants to
it
die,
beats
right? Like-
spending another Sunday worshiping
I
the
guess so.
punt team. And if you want more,
One hit,
of
two
the
hit, three
film
hit,
first Browns
4
talk,
hits.
the
Okay.
second depth chart tea leaves drop. Hit subscribe.
I just pull him, right?
So you
Oh
don't
shit.
miss the
Yeah,
Friday
you come
trip.
redemption.
Now
Oh,
zoom out. This is
Yo,
bigger than a
bro.
debut. This is
So
a
cool.
referendum
It's
on
too
how
cool.
the Browns handle
So I can
momentum. For years,
bait
pattern was hype,
I can
stutter,
bait the kale
scapegoat,
low-key.
reset. You
Q
can feel
cooldown?
the
No, no, no.
organization
Oh,
teetering
Searing down
between
together is
repeating
funny,
that
but,
cycle
Thanks,
and
Searing.
finally
Yeah.
growing out of
We
it.
don't-
If they
we don't-
cling
You don't
to the
like to talk
comfort of
No,
later,
if anything,
one
it's
more
recursion.
time,
That shit
the
goes. Just get it
season
even
drifts
lower.
and the locker room
If you wanna-
tunes out the
Interesting
headset.
case.
If they choose
Okay.
now,
Is
they
Sculpture
accept
better?
the bumps and chase the
Recursion.
ceiling. One path protects ego.
Scope here.
the
Hey, it's gotta
other
be
protects
recursion
Sunday.
here. Oh, I got Volt.
Yeah.
Oh, I got
defense
Volt.
is
Oh
voting
my
with
god.
its body
I got
language.
Volt.
Shut up.
The
Okay.
fans are
You
voting
get
with
more
their
crit.
lungs.
Yo,
Okay, buddy.
yeah, I get more crit. I get more
Without
crit. So,
intending
Yo.
to,
should I
put
just
a
build
clock
like
on it.
Sundered?
And
What the fuck is this
just
Cled
keeps
build?
doing what quarterbacks are supposed to
I
do
don't just
when
crit
the
my
name
trifles
is called.
and shit.
Prepare like it is.
Like
Imagine the
Titanic,
moment.
Buck Lever.
The
Yeah.
graphic
I'm gonna
hits,
mega
the
bait him.
sideline
Don't
erupts,
ulti me right away,
the
okay? I'm
kid
gonna mega
jogs
bait.
in, not a mercy snap, a takeover.
Oh,
The
okay,
energy
well, I'll just kill him.
and
I'll just kill
suddenly
him
the
right away,
Browns
okay? I'm gonna
aren't
mega
asking
bait.
the defense to drag a piano uphill.
Oh, okay,
They're
well, I'll
playing
just kill him.
duet.
I'll just kill him.
First
Never mind,
drive,
never mind.
They give him a quick rhythm throw to the
Yeah.
boundary to set the hands.
I did.
Then a bang play action
Yo,
to
one
the glass,
shot. Yo.
then a
Yo,
movement
top
throw
this
with
bitch.
levels crossing his
Don't let him
vision.
rest.
You can hear the crowd trust return on 3rd and 6 when the ball leaves early and the receiver catches through contact beyond the sticks. That's how you start rewriting the story in the city that guards its home. Will it fix everything? Number,
Yo, high key's
will
an
it
E
be
flash.
missing?
Hey,
Sure,
if you're,
he's a rookie, not a
fuck.
miracle, but he won't
Yeah,
flinch.
my bad. Okay,
That's
I'll do
the
next time.
point. When
Yeah.
Rush peaks, he keeps his eyes.
I mean, I did
Chaos
one tap
spikes,
him.
he
I did one
finds the
tap him.
beat.
It's just-
And when he finally lands a layered shot,
let's
something
lock
that
in,
makes
you know?
the
Let's
safety
lock
turn
in.
his hips
Yeah,
too late
yeah.
and the sideline
please.
explodes, you'll see it
Okay.
in the defensive
Fuck,
face.
dude, I would go
Relief,
static, but I
belief,
can't hit
the
that
sense
fast,
that their
right?
labor might finally
Really
get paid
can't.
on the
No, you
same
don't.
day. There's a harsher truth baked into all this too.
should I
Either
buy?
Shedeur Sanders saves Cleveland from
Please
itself,
buy
or
something.
he
Yeah,
exposes how
just
deep
buy
the habit
anything.
runs.
The
There isn't
Optimus
much
is good.
middle
Optimus is
ground
really
left.
good.
If he wins, he
Okay,
becomes
yeah,
the rookie
you know
who
what?
walks into
I'm gonna
noise and
just pray to
tuned
God.
it into music. If he struggles and the building
Just gonna buy shit, 2 magics, whatever. I'm sure we can one-tap these guys. Like, it's fine. I need to buy a prismatic and go for like hamstring or some shit, man. Like, right now.
Have started hedging.
Yeah.
You can see it in fans
Don't ulti me yet.
who've worn off hope and still can't help themselves. That's not
Okay.
marketing. That's
Nice.
a heartbeat. So, what now? Allegedly, the Browns are
I kill here?
evaluating
Yeah.
all
I'm
options
eating,
over
okay?
the bye. Reportedly, there's internal
Yep, that's
debate
fine.
about timing, about optics, about
I
control.
need to eat
Here's
for my
read. The only
form.
thing to control is the script. Call the
Yo,
plan
I'm
that
coming.
fits
He's
the
bleeding, by the
player
way.
you
Reverse
draft.
fucking
Let
guy.
Reese cook.
Okay, I
Get
just hit him for 5K.
he's earned.
Holy
Then
shit.
live with the truth.
Dude,
Because
fucking,
Cleveland
it's so
doesn't
sad
need
because these are the one guys that can like actually tank me out. So I actually have to like set it up. Oh, Puppeteer. Yeah, Puppeteer on the guy. Oh, I got Engineer too. Oh my
14
god.
says the same thing. Light it. If you're feeling this,
No, Serpent
tap
Fang is
like
too
so
important.
more Browns fans see
Fuck
it before the
the
decision
lightning
drops.
rod. Fuck the
Drop
lightning
your
rod. Yeah,
predictions
whatever.
below. Jets debut or delay. First 15 plays. More tempo or more movement. Who gets the first shot ball?
guys
And
are
if you want the
strong.
all
These
22
guys are really
breakdown when he
strong.
finally takes that snap, make
My
sure
stat
you're
bonus
subscribed
here,
and hit the bell so you don't miss the
2500.
instant film rule.
Yeah, I
The
can-
story isn't slowing down.
Yeah,
and the
I'm not gonna
stakes
stat
aren't
bonus here.
shrinking. When
I'm not gonna
Shedeur
juice
Sanders
either.
tightens that chin strap in the stadium
I'm
turns
just
from
gonna
red to
fucking
voltage, we'll
hope.
be
Yeah,
here
because we have to beat them
every
twice, right? So I'm
every
gonna set up.
window and every
Yeah, let me
decision
set up in the back
presser
here.
won't. Until then,
And just play
keep
away.
the faith,
Try not to get hit.
Cleveland. You've survived enough to recognize
Yeah.
the sound of a turn. Like, subscribe and share this with the one friend who swore he was done with
What
hope.
the
Because
fuck?
if Destiny really does love drama,
I need
it's
to
about
leave. I need to
stage
leave.
come back
Or you need to
brown
puppeteer
and
him.
orange.
Yo, you have 2 stacks on him. Go.
Cleveland didn't just stumble into another quarterback debate.
Okay,
They
kill
may
this boy.
walk straight into a full-blown conspiracy,
Oh my God.
allegedly of their own making. One week
Oh
the
my
city's
God.
buzzing because a rookie is turning
He's not
routine
reacting with
drills into
ulti, bro. He's
highlight
actually
tape.
not
The
ulting my
next week,
initial
that
engage.
same rookie
I
disappears
don't know why.
behind a vague label
He
that
is
reads
too
like it was
brave for
typed by a
that.
lawyer, not a trainer. Fans aren't dumb. They saw Shedeur
finish with some
Sanders
crit,
torching
man.
camp reps,
I'll
talking
just get some
calmly on the
fucking
mic,
crit.
zipping throws
700
that look
here.
factually calibrated, and carrying himself like a starter who happens to wear a temporary backup
Dude, there's gotta be
Then
something good
without a
here.
limp, without a
Sundered
rap,
Sky,
without
bro.
even a frown on the practice
Bro, I'm
field,
not even
he's
kidding.
suddenly
I'm gonna just go
managing
fucking
something.
Atmos
Managing
Reckoning
what? Managing
just to get
attention,
more
managing
HP,
optics. Because the
and
timing,
it gives me
reportedly
like
the day after
50%
he
crit here.
embarrassed veterans with touch,
Okay, I
timing,
finished
and
with my
command,
juice and stuff.
looks less
Holy
like precaution
shit,
and
my
more
nose.
like
Let's go.
panic. And panic is exactly what
I'm gonna
some
see if he
Browns
reacts again.
watchers think they're seeing. Not
Walk
a
away
medical
here,
event,
walk away
but a
here. And
narrative
just remember,
one,
you can stand your ground and
allegedly.
puppeteer.
Here's
Worst
how
case.
the story feels to people inside and outside Cleveland who have whiplash from the spin. You draft the
Wait, he just
magnetic
decided to
rookie,
die.
but into a
Go, go,
crowded
go, 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 go.
room, you fence him off from first team timing under the guise of learning the system. When the buzz somehow survives the firewall, you label him tight, day-to-day, precautionary. Then, when the internet refuses to quiet down, you reintroduce him at QB3 or QB4 and say the word competition like it's holy water. Fans can smell that choreography.
You might think
from
Clyde
the
is
cheap
boring, but I
seats,
actually found
and
one of the
they're
most
saying
insane
it's not
strategies to do, and I don't want to
stewardship,
spoil.
it's sabotage, allegedly wrapped in corporate language. Cleveland has done this dance before. The franchise has turned the quarterback position into an
All I'll say
annual
is
rites
never
of
seen
spring
anything.
ceremony, promise, hesitation, retreat. And in a media environment where there are more cameras at camp than at some regular season games, a mystery injury that no one saw is like trying to hide a billboard with a napkin. When receipts exist, silence reads like strategy. What's peculiar is that the football case for a calm trial isn't crazy. This roster is built to win 20 to 16 games with a defense that can suffocate drives and an offense that just has to avoid gifting short fields. That kind of team needs a quarterback who sits tall versus blitz without panic outlets, who throws on time to second windows instead of first read bailouts, who creates clean explosives off play action rather than hero ball YOLOs. And the camp clips, the ones fans keep replaying frame by frame, suggest Shedeur fits that recipe. Disciplined base, patient eyes, layered accuracy, controlled aggression. Maybe it scales on day one, maybe it sputters for 2 quarters and then clicks. But it speaks directly to what Cleveland's offense keeps punting into the lake. Rhythm, timing, and a sense of inevitability when the ball leaves the hand. If you've watched him, you know why the building gets quieter when he spins it. If you've watched the current offense stall, you know why chants start earlier every week. Quick note, if you're into this breakdown style, tap subscribe so you don't miss the next game week cut up. It really helps the channel keep digging on this saga. What pushed this from grievance to gasoline was the public tone shift. Early messaging made Dylan Gabriel sound like the heir apparent, calm, system fit, playbook forward. Then the games happened. Safe calls, safe numbers, safer field position, and an offense that looked like it was trying to protect the lead it didn't have. Overnight, the organization that barely said Shedeur's name started sprinkling him into interviews, teasing practice throws, feeding hope in little drips. Analysts called it what it looked like, damage control. You don't pivot from be patient to maybe it's time unless you're feeling the walls press in. And the walls are pressing in from the concourse, where fans are chanting his name before warm-ups are over. From the locker room, where veterans reportedly admit the ball looks different when he drives a dig on time. From local radio, where hosts are playing the same clip of a perfect glance route until the board out begs for mercy. From national shows, where talking heads are saying, if you're going to lose playing it safe, at least find out if the kid can change the math. The subplot that keeps resurfacing is ego, coaching pride, front office sunk cost, the old guard's reflex to keep the lid on a rising brand that markets itself. Shedeur isn't just a quarterback prospect, he's a camera magnet, a clip engine, a player whose poise sells without a press release. That doesn't play nice with a culture that wants to sequence every reveal. There's a fear, allegedly, that if he takes real reps with the ones and the light comes on, you can't put it back in the lamp. There's also a fear that if he gets those reps and stumbles, critics will say the staff rushed him. That's the tightrope. Start him and risk too soon. Sit him and risk too scared. But this is the NFL. The only unforgivable sin is indecision. The longer you delay a clean answer, the more the locker room writes its own. Players aren't blind. They feel the tempo. They know when a check down is a choice and when it's a flinch. They know when a route is capped because the quarterback never holds the backside safety with his eyes. They also know when a rookie hits a 7-step, hitches once, and lets a 20-yard and cut rip like it's practice air. Quiet belief is still belief, and belief, once it tips, is irreversible. The league won't rescue Cleveland from this either. The NFL is incredible at cosmetic discipline, sock heights, towel tucks, end zone choreography, but it loves order more than truth. If a viral rookie vanishes under the fog of team discretion, Park Avenue isn't parachuting in to audit the trainer's spreadsheet. That means the only pressure valve that exists is performance pressure. Fans paying for hope, a defense tired of carrying field position, receivers running cardio for empty targets, and a coaching staff staring at 3rd and 8 while the stadium chants for a player they've kept in bubble wrap. If you're still here with me, toss a quick like so this gets in front of more Browns fans. We're going to be tracking every rep of the evaluation stretch once it starts. So what would a sane rollout look like if the Browns wanted truth over optics? Give him 2 full install weeks with the ones. Timing with starters can't be faked. Script a 15-play opener that lets him own the pace. Quick in breaker, RPO, give, take, flood to stress the flat defender, keeper to change the launch point, dagger to test intermediate anticipation, then 1 max protect shot only after a prior completion has softened the safeties. Define 3 green light checks that belong to him and only him. A pressure answer he can tag in any look, a boundary ISO he's empowered to take when leverage screams it, and a condensed set beater that punishes soft corners at the sticks. Protect with personnel honesty, TE help on edges until the rush respects the rhythm. Go empty only after you've earned it. Live by 3 rules, no late outs, win the down spacing battle, and punt if the picture lies. If he's not it, the tape says so. If he is, the city exhales and the room doesn't break anyone. You announce an evaluation plan. You give the rookie a defined practice runway. You explain to the vets exactly what's being measured. You protect the current starter's dignity by speaking about process, not punishment. Then you let the games tell the truth. If Shedeur sputters, you recalibrate and ride the defense. If he stabilizes the offense and hits 2 explosives a half, you ride the wave and never look back. Either way, you stop lying to yourselves because the worst outcome isn't a rookie mistake. It's institutional denial. Fans can handle learning curves. What they won't forgive is being gaslit by a depth chart that doesn't match what their eyes and your practice tape already know. Cleveland has spent decades mistaking caution for wisdom. It's not. Wisdom is choosing clarity over control. The franchise finally has a quarterback who makes football look organized. Feet married to eyes, eyes married to timing, timing married to trust, and it keeps trying to manage the lighting instead of letting the camera roll. Maybe that's fear of being wrong about past investments. Maybe it's an allergy to unplanned stars. Maybe it's just habit. But habits can be broken in one drive. You call a keeper on play 2, he hits the crosser on the move for 18, the crowd inhales like it forgot how, and suddenly the building remembers why it loves this sport. That's what's at stake here, breath. If you felt that, consider subscribing. I'll keep tracking the leaks, the installs, and the first live series when it finally happens. Until then, expect more whispers. Soreness, precaution, re-ramp, competition. Expect more leaks that say the ball came out hot in a red zone period against the ones. Expect more players to answer questions with shrugs that sound like, we see it too. And expect the decision to land the only place it ever could, in the middle of the field, under lights, with a defense that doesn't care about optics and a city that's ready to believe again. When that snap comes, Cleveland either keeps punting on potential or it lets a quarterback take the wheel and drive the story where it always should have been headed. Like, if you enjoyed the breakdown, drop a comment with your read on the precaution label, and most important, subscribe so you don't miss the first snap when this evaluation window opens. If the tape tells the truth, we'll call it. If the spin tries to replace it, we'll call that too. See you after the bye.
One Browns insiders made a startling update about Shedeur Sanders playing this upcoming Sunday. A lot of talks in Cleveland and in the media about Shedeur possibly playing this upcoming Sunday, pretty much letting it be known that Kevin Stefanski might be forced to put the young rookie in the game. Now, I'm getting word that if the Browns come out and stink up the place in this specific home game, they're going to get booed.
Cleveland just turned its quarterback chaos into must-see TV, and the walls at the facility are humming with it. Reports say Kevin Stefanski's locker room is hanging by a thread, the fan base is boiling over, and one name keeps echoing through the smoke. Insiders claim Stefanski is being pushed to start him this Sunday, and it doesn't feel like football anymore. It feels like mutiny and shoulder pads with the city as a fourth phase of the game. Before Cleveland turned him into a headline, Shedeur was already a walking storyline, talent, confidence, and legacy wrapped into one cool under-pressure package. At Colorado, he didn't just play, he staged comebacks, mastered chaos, and carried himself like a pro who knows the weight of a last name and still wants to build his own lane. Analysts called him NFL ready, teammates called him unshakable, and fans saw prime 2.0 energy without the copy-paste vibes, just poise that never blinked. Cleveland noticed because Cleveland always notices hope when it walks by in cleats. A franchise raised on heartbreak saw leadership and control in a black and gold jersey and imagined an identity, not just a player, something bold enough to break the sad carousel of safe choices. Then draft day flipped the script with politics louder than production, and teams got cautious while the cameras found Shedeur's patience instead of panic. He slid, Cleveland called, and it felt poetic. A city that hunted miracles found a quarterback who doesn't wait for them. If this was supposed to be a fairy tale, nobody mailed Cleveland the ending, because the next chapter was all pressure, cameras, and a quarterback room that felt like a ballroom fight under fluorescent lights. Rumors flew that Shedeur wasn't Stefanski's pick, that maybe ownership pushed it, and that playing him would tilt the building's power grid. So the rookie icon became a sideline ghost with a laser stare and a helmet in his hands. Fans didn't care about politics. They wanted spark, not safety, and they made it loud with chants, threads, and call-in shows that sounded like emergency meetings. Gabriel still took the first team reps, the offense still sputtered, and patience snapped like a bad route in the rain. Now the Browns' quarterback room is the league's strangest soap opera. Part locker room, part pressure cooker, part reality show, with a new twist every week. Stefanski says there's no controversy, but his post-game calm looks more like denial than leadership, and the silence after each presser says plenty. Three men sit at the center of it in one city that can't take another letdown. Gabriel, steady but safe, with short throws and training wheels reads. Joe Flacco, the veteran ghost who floated through as a mentor and reminder of what used to work. And Shedeur, the rookie everyone is talking about even when they're told not to. Practices feel like silent battles. Gabriel runs the ones. Shedeur tracks every snap like a chess player hunting checkmate, and defensive leaders admit out loud that the air changes when numbered. 14 spins it. Stefanski keeps trying to play chess with checkers, protecting the plan, while the room quietly splits between the future and the familiar. Here's the truth the building can feel. Once Shedeur gets the first real snap, there's no turning back, because the tape will speak and the locker room will follow the ball, not the press notes. Every stale drive from Gabriel is another crack in the dam and another reason for the crowd to chant what the roster already whispers. talk shows, Reddit threads, and spaces all sing the same hook. Start the kid. Stefanski's "We just need to execute" sounds like a ringtone nobody wants to hear, and the city's patience is past due. This isn't a quarterback battle anymore. It's a civil war over identity, and no matter who wins, somebody's legacy is about to smoke. Then the leaks hit like sirens. Anonymous reports about veterans questioning calls, defensive leaders tired of doing heavy lifting, and assistants arguing behind closed doors.
Damn near out.
It's no use for Shedeur. It's going to take the owner stepping in and saying no to Stefanski, but I'm going to tell you what tears me up about this. They have the fourth easiest schedule remaining. They have what Pro Football Focus ranks the #1 defense in pro football. So it scares me because Stefanski is...
One insider even claimed ownership gave an ultimatum: give Shedeur a real shot or explain why not, and the timeline swallowed that rumor whole. Meanwhile, fans flipped from frustrated to furious. Hashtags like #StartShedeur and #FreeTheKid trended. Local shops sold "Play 14 or We Riot" tees, and sports radio became a courtroom where the verdict was already written. Even former Browns players chimed in with "The city deserves better," while timelines cooked every safe check down like it was a betrayal. Players hear it, see it, and scroll it, the chants, the comments, the clips, and you can feel some quietly agreeing while others just beg for peace that never lasts here. In Cleveland, hope and chaos always arrive together, and this time they're wearing the same number. Want more straight shot breakdowns without the fluff? Tap subscribe now so you don't miss the moment the depth chart finally matches the film. Behind the noise, Shedeur keeps doing what he's always done, working like the job is already his, because that's the only way the job ever becomes yours. First in, last out, scout team snaps treated like playoff drives, meetings approached like exams, and film study handled with veteran discipline. He's preparing for inevitability.
He's going to fight for his life and his job and his draft pick, a third-round pick in Dillon. It tears my guts out to watch what's happening to Shedeur with a chance. This is on a silver platter for somebody to take the reins. So I'm not loving this for Shedeur unless Jimmy Haslam just steps in and says, okay, that's enough. We have
not wishing for miracles, and that's why the room keeps glancing his way. Stefanski, built on stability and control, is now balancing a hurricane with an umbrella. Start the rookie and risk being labeled a roll of the dice, or stick with safety and risk being called stubborn while the season bleeds out. If he starts Shedeur and it backfires, the seat burns. If he benches Shedeur and they lose again, the seat still burns. Pick your fire, and through it all, number 14 keeps the volume low. No complaints, no shots, no cryptic posts, just quiet prep that always turns into loud results when the whistle finally says prove it. Sunday in Cleveland looms like a trial, not a game. The crowd wants answers, not platitudes, and one empty drive could turn the stadium into a chorus that shakes the cameras. We want Shedeur. The Browns are 1-5, the head coach is dangling by a thread, and insiders say ownership is out of patience. If Gabriel stumbles early,
throw tomatoes at him, bro. They ain't playing no games. Brown fans are tired of this little soap opera drama that is going on because it was all cool in the beginning, but as of right now, they're not winning any damn football games. And as of right now, Kevin Stefanski and the entire Browns organization is letting the people of Cleveland down by not playing the quarterback that they want to see in. And we ultimately know who that quarterback is. Come on, bro. They want to see Shedeur. They tired of this Dylan Gabriel experiment. They was tired of the Joe Flacco experiment.
The headset won't save anybody. This won't be about play sheets. It'll be about survival, belief, and the shot that flips a narrative in a single snap. If Shedeur steps in and lands even one deep strike that detonates the place, it'll feel like a resurrection the city thought it forgot how to feel. If he struggles, it still won't matter much. The spark will be lit, and you can't unsee potential after you finally see it. Cleveland has seen this movie. Hype, heartbreak, hope. But this version feels different because the story isn't just a quarterback hunt, it's a fight for identity. Shedeur is more than a name on a depth chart. He's the embodiment of every fan who yelled at a screen, every defender tired of carrying the weight, and every receiver who wants a chance to run something other than a 5-yard apology route. Insiders say this moment has been brewing for weeks. The coach's calm is cracking, ownership is pressing, and the locker room is quietly choosing sides. Some players already act like the room belongs to Shedeur because of the way veterans give him that little nod. Respect doesn't need a speech when the presence is real.
And I'm heard it.
Stefanski is really enjoying this moment. Kevin Stefanski is making the Browns organization basically Jerry Springer. He's making a mockery of the situation and enjoying it. Just announce the goddamn quarterback. Who's quarterback number 2? Why are we playing in his goddamn mind?
If he plays well, the city will flip overnight, from risk to franchise, from gamble to identity, and the post-game spin will try to call it foresight even if everyone knows it was pressure that forced the hand. If he wobbles, the ask won't change. Cleveland won't go back to safe screens and emotionless podium lines after tasting energy, because the idea of him works even before the numbers do. The curse here never was bad luck, it was bad timing and fear. This time the timing's ugly, but the choice is clear. Pick the spark and live with the learning, or pick the stall and live with the fallout. The AFC North doesn't hand out grace. It hands out bruises and respect, and the only way to earn either is to swing big. Shedeur is ready physically, pro-arm, fast eyes, calm feet, and mentally. He's sharper than half the veterans he watches tape on. Readiness isn't just skill, it's moment. And this moment is loud, raw, and very Cleveland. Perfect for a quarterback who thrives in storms. If you're rocking with this ride and want the next chapter the second it breaks, hit like and subscribe so the algorithm doesn't bench you when news hits the huddle. Look around, every drive that stalls and every third down check down adds weight to a decision that can't be dodged any longer. The fans aren't just watching, they're participating. Offense, defense, special teams, and Cleveland rage.
The quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, his fan base is waiting to see him play this year. And also, you got former NFL players and former Browns players, they ready to see Shedeur. They done seen enough of Cleveland quarterback situation.
And the only way to calm the room is clarity with conviction. Give both quarterbacks a real evaluation window with the ones, equal calls, equal situations, and let the tape decide while the team sees the process, not just the result. If Gabriel wins the room back with efficiency, say it clean and ride it. If Shedeur flips the field and the sideline, say it loud and build around it. Nothing heals a split like a plan everyone can point to and respect. But here's the gut punch. Cleveland isn't patient anymore, and maybe they shouldn't be, because identity beats caution when a season is bleeding clock. The city doesn't want calm, it wants fire. And right now that fire wears 14. Whether it turns into a miracle or a learning curve, one thing is certain. Once Shedeur takes the field, there's no going back to quiet football and safe platitudes, because belief is a bell you can't unring. He won't just be a substitution, he'll be a shift in how the franchise breathes, talks, and attacks, and that's the kind of jolt this story has been begging for. Cleveland has waited long enough for a reason to feel alive again, and the rookie with the steady eyes and the loud silence might be the one who turns chaos into charge. The clock is loud, the stakes are real, and the next snap could change everything for a team, a coach, and a city that keeps daring hope to come back. This isn't just football anymore, it's Cleveland's biggest story in years, and Shedeur Sanders might be the spark that rewrites the ending at last. If you're here for the turn, stay locked, subscribe, and drop a like, because when that headset finally points to 14, you'll want to say you saw the shift the second it started.
The Cleveland Browns assistant GM is brutally honest about Shedeur Sanders' future and Dillon Gabriel being named QB2.
The Cleveland Browns thought they could control the story, but one sentence from Shedeur Sanders just blew the whole thing apart. An assistant GM opened his mouth, shaded the rookie, and the NFL hasn't stopped talking since. It was supposed to be a quiet media day in Cleveland. Harmless interviews, some praise for Dillon Gabriel, and polite corporate smiles, but a subtle jab slipped out, questioning whether Shedeur was really ready for the league, and the spark hit dry grass instantly. Within hours, every ticker and timeline asked the same thing. Did the Browns just disrespect Shedeur Sanders? Most rookies would have stayed quiet, smile for the cameras, let PR mop up, move on. But Shedeur isn't most rookies, and he doesn't do quiet. He looked straight at the noise and dropped a truth bomb. Calm, sharp, fearless, that made Cleveland's front office scramble like they'd seen a ghost. No scripted apology, no forced humility, just poise so steady it froze the building in place. The locker room shifted, the fans split, and the league asked a question it wasn't prepared for. Is the NFL ready for a quarterback who refuses to play by old rules? It began like any other press day, cameras flashing, mics lined up, a front office selling another we're building story, but the message inside those polished quotes was off. They kept hyping Gabriel. He's earned QB2. He's ahead in the playbook. He's more consistent. And anyone who knows league politics heard the subtext loud and clear. Shedeur's not our guy. Then an assistant GM got too comfy and let the mask drop, hinting Shedeur might not be NFL ready. His confidence from the family name, not the game. One line on the record, and boom, the fuse lit. By sunrise, headlines were locked. Browns insider questions, Shedeur's readiness. The building panicked, PR tried to contain it, players whispered, reporters circled, and social went nuclear with clips, edits, and fan wars that didn't sleep. Some called it honest scouting, but most saw it for what it was, a slick shot at the Sanders name. And for Shedeur, this wasn't some random comment. It was personal. He's heard the labels for years. Too confident, too flashy, product of his dad.
Day was pretty much media day for the Cleveland Browns front office, man. A couple of guys came out and spoke to the media, and they was speaking very highly about Dillon Gabriel. They let it be known he is definitely QB2. He's better than Schlee. I feel like it's a slap in the face to the Cleveland Brown fans and to the Sanders family.
And each time they tried to box him in, he got sharper. So when Cleveland's assistant went public, Shedeur didn't hear criticism. He heard challenge and decided to answer like a pro, not a puppet. He stepped to the mic, no script, no handler, and spoke from the chest. I feel like I've put in the work. I feel like I belong here. I know my worth. I know what I bring. The words were simple. The tone was ice cold, and the building went silent. That calm wasn't arrogance, it was clarity, and it flipped the conversation on contact. Instead of rattling him, the jab exposed the system. Why does confidence bother people only when it comes from someone who won't bow to the mold? Shedeur didn't beg for validation.
Because for the simple fact, Shedeur was not given the same opportunity as Dillon Gabriel. It was displayed in front of the world when y'all put out the third string line for him and let Dillon Gabriel run with the twos. I don't give a damn how you spin it, what you say. He should have been given the same opportunity. If this was a true competition, and Shedeur truly had to earn
for validation, and he didn't chase approval. He set the standard and made the league react to him. Real ones felt it. If you want straight-up breakdowns with zero fluff, hit subscribe now so you're locked in when this saga swings again. Before the Cleveland chaos, you have to understand why his name shakes rooms. Most players earn headlines with what they do on the field. Shedeur makes noise just by walking in. Magnetic presence, AI clean mechanics, calm under pressure like he's built from 2-minute drills. The control is the flash, no theatrics needed, just a laser show with timing to match. Off the field, he's already a brand, deals, style, followers before a single NFL snap, and he actually understands the business behind the game. In a league where image equals leverage, he holds cards veteran stars beg for and still doesn't waste words. The last name matters.
Obviously, I think overall as a player, I feel like I put in the work. I feel like everything I do, I try to do it to my best, and that's all I ask for. So I feel like everybody feels like, they should be on the team, and if you ask anybody on the team, would they feel like they belong, in their own eyes. So I feel like I do, but I'm my own player, I think about myself in a high regard, of course. So it's not my...
The last name matters, sure, but he isn't copying Prime. He's evolving the blueprint, authentic and dominant instead of loud and performative. So when a Browns exec questioned whether he's ready, it wasn't just disrespect, it was delusional. He's been prepping for this stage his whole life, and he's not trying to fit the NFL's old system. He's bending it. If there's a franchise that knows how to ruin a good thing, it's Cleveland, and that's not slander, that's history. Tim Couch, Brady Quinn, Johnny Manziel, saviors arrived, then vanished. The real...
And I'm going to tell you why. I think he's being set up for failure. That's right, I'm going to say it. Okay. Here we are on national television, right? There's been 11 practices, if I remember correctly. He's been he's been playing against the third unit. He's fourth on the depth chart.
The real issue isn't bad luck, it's culture. A setup that punishes leadership if it isn't quiet and smooth, then asks why the spark keeps dying. Shedeur is the opposite of quiet, and that's why this clash hit like thunder. So when that assistant took his swipe, folks felt deja vu. Another talented quarterback walks in with swagger, and Cleveland flinches. Only this time they picked the wrong dude to underestimate. He doesn't crumble under dysfunction, he cooks in it. The moment the quote hit the web, everything exploded. Sports shows looped the take. Analysts argued for hours, and hashtag Respect Shedeur started trending before the building realized the blaze had jumped floors. Fans split. Half cried disrespect, half said earn it. But everyone agreed on one hard rule. You don't poke a Sanders and walk away clean. And here's the twist. Shedeur didn't pour gas on the fire, he controlled it.
And then suddenly you throw him into the star lineup, and he hasn't had any reps with the first team at all. Think about that. So you're just gonna throw him to the wolves like that, huh? I mean, you know, if he had first team snaps in practice.
Sounds like every reply, kept it measured, and managed perception like a vet. Because controversy doesn't destroy stars, it creates them when the star stays composed. Then the debate shifted off stats and onto character, confident or cocky. And the double standard got loud. A quiet quarterback speaks up in its leadership. Shedeur speaks up in its distraction. They say they want authenticity. What they really want is obedience. Smile, nod, say, I'm just focused on the team, and don't challenge the hierarchy. But Shedeur isn't interested in playing the puppet show. He knows his worth, and that scares people who depend on control. His confidence isn't empty, it's earned, built from film nights, pocket hits, and lights he didn't ask for, but handled like he was born under them. Fake arrogance fades, real confidence lasts, and this is the real thing. Zoom out, Shedeur isn't just an athlete, he's an enterprise. Every move feels intentional, quotes, fits, posts, strategy, not noise. Most rookies chase endorsements. He attracts them because his voice moves markets. Not just chains. In the modern NFL, your image is currency, and his value spikes every time he speaks with precision. Then came the setup, the classic limited reps with the 2s and 3s, tossed into choppy drills, then told to prove it. Analysts clocked it immediately. You don't test top shelf talent like that, you bury it. Still, he didn't complain, didn't post smoke, didn't pout. He showed up, ate the hard snaps, and kept the tempo even when the deck was stacked. That made it worse for Cleveland because even in a tilted script, he stayed calm, professional, and dangerous. The message was clear. You can try to box him, but you won't box him in.
Sounds like the Cleveland Browns are going to all but imprison Shedeur Sanders in the football sense of a very talented rookie quarterback who obviously needs reps, needs an opportunity, and who now, barring some miraculous luck, will not get the opportunity to play in a single real game.
He turns every jab into jet fuel. He doesn't run from criticism. He studies it. He rewinds, corrects, and returns sharper, which is why his confidence reads as work ethic, not ego. Behind that engine is a father who taught him to send pressure back to sender. Prime didn't raise a complainer. He raised a mirror. Cleveland tried to test him. They ended up building him. You don't break a storm that can become one, and Shedeur can flip the weather on cue. Meanwhile, the Browns machine did what it always does. Tried to manage the moment and accidentally created a movement. The more they talked around him, the more the league talked about him. The more they hyped Gabriel on safe terms, the more the city asked why number. 14 wasn't getting real looks with real weapons. The more they tried to control the message, the more it slipped through their fingers like confetti at a parade they didn't plan. This isn't just football. This is power, perception, and a rookie who understands both. He doesn't need to win a press conference. He needs a fair rep with the ones, and when that happens, the tape will speak in surround sound. Inside the building, you can feel the ground moving. Defensive leaders tired of carrying dead drives, vets side-eyeing the depth chart, assistants debating behind closed doors, and ownership allegedly asking harder questions than the media ever gets to ask. The fan base has turned into the fourth phase, loud, organized, relentless, and the play it safe line doesn't land anymore. Cleveland wanted calm, it got a clock, and the tick is getting loud.
Game. I'm sure many around the NFL are celebrating as we speak. They are chuckling about this. Many in the NFL wanted to teach Shedeur and his daddy.
The old curse here was never just bad luck. It was bad timing and fear. Pick safety, sell hope, repeat the loop. Shedeur breaks that pattern because he forces timing to meet talent, not the other way around. The solution isn't tricky. Put both quarterbacks in the same script with the ones, same calls, same situations, and let the tape decide while the locker room watches a process it can trust. If Gabriel wins it clean, say it clean and ride it. If Shedeur flips the field in the sideline, say it loud and build around it. Clarity heals, confusion kills. And if you're rocking with honest breakdowns and instant updates when this depth chart finally budges, tap like and subscribe so the algorithm doesn't bench you for the next chapter. Here's the truth you can't unhear. The Browns tried to test Shedeur Sanders and ended up handing him a platform. They thought the jab would shrink him. It scaled him. They thought the setup would stall him. It sharpened him. He isn't just ready for the NFL. He's redefining what ready looks like when a quarterback is honest, outspoken, and still a leader the room respects. The question isn't if Shedeur Sanders is ready for Sundays. The question is whether the NFL, and Cleveland in particular, is ready for this kind of quarterback. One who won't fold for PR, won't flinch for politics, and won't play small to fit anyone's comfort zone. Because if this week proved anything, it's simple and scary for the status quo. Shedeur doesn't follow eras. He starts them.
No doubt about it, there is something strange going on in Cleveland. I think we have an inside war that we really don't know what war is going on. Is it Andrew Berry versus Kevin Stefanski? Is it Shedeur Sanders versus Kevin Stefanski? There's a lot that's definitely...
Cleveland can't go a week without a plot twist, and this one might be the biggest yet. According to Mary Kay's report, Shedeur Sanders could finally be on his way back, and allegedly the play calling might be pried out of Kevin Stefanski's hands and handed to Tommy Rees. Read that again. The coach who's clung to control like it's oxygen might be watching the call sheet walk across the room. Does that sound like Stefanski suddenly seeing the light? Not really. It smells like ownership in the front office stepping in after weeks of booze, empty drives, and a fan base that's been done begging. Call it damage control, call it survival. But if it happens, it's the first real sign this franchise might stop protecting egos and start protecting wins. Shedeur's return has felt inevitable for months. Everyone saw it coming except the people paid to see it first. The offense stalled out, the chemistry flatlined, and the crowd checked out. Meanwhile, the rookie reportedly kept working in silence, training on his own time, staying ready while a vague stiffness story did laps on the timeline. When his family pushed back and said he wasn't injured, Stefanski shrugged like it wasn't his focus. Not his focus? Then what is? Another week of checkdowns and 3 and outs? That's not leadership, that's denial dressed as discipline. If you're rocking with this and want more breakdowns the second they drop, tap subscribe and stick around. This saga changes by the hour. What makes this leak explosive isn't just Shedeur, it's the Rees angle. If Tommy Rees really gets the sheet, that's a philosophical reboot. Stefanski's play calling has looked like he's calling the game through oven mitts, risk-averse, rhythmless, and allergic to momentum. Rees, for all the debates about his resume, builds quarterbacks a runway. Tempo, defined reads, confidence throws that stack first downs and then pop shots when safeties start cheating.
Something going on here that is weird, strange, and dysfunctional. Because the answers to the questions and the logic from the moment they drafted him to right now, incongruencies and inconsistencies.
Pair that with Shedeur's profile. Calm feet, quick eyes, precise timing, controlled aggression, and suddenly an offense that's been tiptoeing looks capable of walking fast and talking louder. Reportedly, some inside the building are already buzzing that an evaluation stretch could be coming after the bye. Translation, Gabriel's leash might be down to drives, not weeks. None of this erases how we got here. The mystery injury fog, the learning the system stall, the public defense of a plan that wasn't working, fans felt gaslit, and the locker room reportedly felt it too. The apology train shouldn't stop with the crowd. Shedeur deserves one as well. The kid's been used as a headline and then treated like fine print. If this flip is real, own it. Say the quiet part out loud. The plan failed, the schedule changed, and the best guy to spark the room wasn't the one on the field. Then hand the ball to the player who kept his head down while everyone else lost theirs. Now, if Rees does take over, here's what changes immediately. In football terms, not press conference poetry. Expect early rhythm throws to stress leverage, quick game from condensed sets, boundary choice routes that give Shedeur answers versus pressure, and keepers that punish over-aggressive ends. Expect 3 or 4 green light checks he owns, pressure answer, boundary ISO, condensed set beater, plus 1 shot if they spin late. Expect protection honesty. Keep the tight end in until the rhythm is established, then expand. That's not flashy, that's functional. And functional is all Cleveland needs right now. If you want this kind of X and O translation every week, lightly tap that like button. It helps more than you think and keeps these deep dives coming. Of course, none of this matters if pride wins again. If this is just another PR feint, float Shedeur's name, float Reese's name, then roll out the same script Sunday, the blowback will be nuclear. Fans aren't just angry, they're exhausted. You can hear it in the stadium when a 3rd and 6 dies 2 yards short of the sticks.
Why did they take him in the 5th round? Why was he still there in the 5th round? Did he really want to come here? Would he rather have gone somewhere else? Who drafted him? Who really wanted him? Why didn't he get any reps and opportunities in training camp when he's the more talented guy and Dylan Gabriel?
You can feel it on the sideline when a defense that's played winning football points to the scoreboard like, we did our job. You can see it in post-game clips where veterans stare through cameras because the words feel empty. The next snap either changes that or it hardens into something you don't fix in a week. And let's be fair, Dylan Gabriel has fought, taken hits, and owned the mic like a pro. But results are results. 4 games in, the tape keeps saying the same thing. Late to windows, conservative by necessity, and a scheme trying to bubble wrap him into manageable stat lines while the scoreboard stays stuck. That's not a referendum on his future. It's a reality check on the present. If Reese is in, he's not inheriting a mystery.
Here we go. Good. Don't start us off. If you're here, you're here. Okay. And coming up high. Good? Here we go. Eyes down the field. Good, we're reading those seams. I didn't think I was in harm's way. Standing over here. Hey, we're going to do a lot of work when we climb up, is keeping this thing on that now. These now that are going to be tackling you, it's a different world, you feel me? It's a different world. You see Myles Garrett walking around with his shirt off? We got to have that ready to roll. You know I'm mic'd up. I hope that makes it. Ball's on the right hash. Quick game. Push our timing on this. Ball's out. Good spot. Switch sides. Good timing. Hey, that's the timing we're after. Good rhythm, baby. I fucking love that. Hey, switch sides. So right away, we're not just going here. Our eyes are still here, and now we're reading that, and now we're coming back. Perfect. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
He's inheriting a mandate. Raise the ceiling now. That likely means Shedeur because his skill set reportedly is the only one in the room that tilts the field without perfect conditions. Pressure, it's suffocating. After the rumors, the benching, the whispers, this wouldn't be a return, it'd be a reckoning. But Shedeur's brand has always been composed urgency. He's built for noise. The job is simple in the loudest possible way. Start fast, protect the ball, punish late rotations, and make the easy look easy so the hard becomes available. One crisp opener, one clean 2-minute drill, one layered dig over a buzzing hook defender. And the building will feel different. The sideline will feel different. Cleveland will feel different. Tommy Reese plus Shedeur isn't a fairy tale, it's a test. If it's real, Cleveland finally chose results over optics.
It's my understanding he regretted that because he, for a moment, lost sight of the fact that any utterance of Shedeur becomes a big story. Yeah. He lost sight of that in answering that question. He didn't think it was a big deal saying, well, no, he's not getting,
it was a massive deal.
Yeah. So, and I heard that given a second chance, he would have answered that question differently. Okay. So I think he's still coming to grips with the sensitivity over the Shedeur Sanders issue.
If it's smoke, the city will treat it like smoke, gone with the first breeze and forgotten only after the booze. But imagine the other timeline. First drive after the bye, motion to empty, safety spins, Shedeur hits the glance off the RPO, then tempo to the line, boundary choice to move the chains, keeper to flip the hash, dagger to punish the flat-footed nickel, touchdown. The place wouldn't cheer, it would exhale, months of tension gone in a single series.
From everybody else. You know, again, they did not think they were going to find their franchise quarterback in this draft, but they wanted to draft at least one, and the first choice was Dylan, and I think Kevin had a large role in that. And he might not have had the same role in the selection of Shedeur. And just go back, I mean, he's the one who controls who gets first team snaps, second team snaps, third. Yeah, you know, here we are in the approaching the month of November.
So here's the ask of the people in charge. Stop trying to win the press conference and start trying to win the game. If the report's true, hand Reese the sheet, hand Shedeur the huddle, and hand the fan base the truth. If it backfires, the tape will say so. If it works, nobody will care how late you were to the right decision. Either way, the city gets honesty and the locker room gets clarity. That's how you rebuild trust in a week. We'll know soon. Insiders say meetings are loud, ownership is restless, and players can feel the ground shifting. If the next depth chart reads the way this town hopes, the Browns stop being the punchline and start being the problem again. If not, the fallout won't be subtle.
And Shedeur Sanders still has not received snaps with the first team offense. That is the direct dominion. The realization might have hit him this week. Because it certainly hit me that Gabriel's not going to be able to take him to the finish line. I think Kevin felt that once Gabriel got in there, I can win with him, in certain, and over time develop him to keep him in there. But I think the New England game was a terrible setback for Gabriel. And I think the realization during this bye week is, we're not going to be able to get to the finish line with Dylan Gabriel.
Either way, I'll be here breaking every rep, every call, every tell, gently hit like if you want the film breakdown the moment he takes the field, and subscribe so you don't miss the drive-by-drive analysis when this story flips from rumor to reality. Because if Shedeur Sanders really trots out with Tommy Reese on the headset and the first ball leaves his hand on time with pace and into a window this offense hasn't even looked at in weeks, the sound you hear won't be hype. It'll be relief. Cleveland's been waiting for a reason to believe. Give them one. And if you're ready for that chapter, make sure you're locked in. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned. When the call sheet changes hands, the whole season might too. Browns fans, take a breath. Sunday night in Pittsburgh wasn't just a loss. It felt like a nationally televised funeral for a season that once had real promise. Cleveland didn't just get beat. They humiliated themselves and confirmed every ugly fear about deep-rooted dysfunction on the biggest stage. At the center of the collapse sits one name, Dylan Gabriel, and this goes way deeper than one bad day. We're peeling back a full organizational failure the pressers won't touch with staggering incompetence, brewing locker room heat, a fan base in open revolt, and a head coach whose stubborn pride might sink a championship-caliber roster. Now the crime scene, the numbers sting. Gabriel launched 50 balls. Yes, 50. Desperate heaves trying to rescue the unsalvageable, and the result was barely 220 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 explosive plays, 0 leadership moments, nothing resembling NFL quarterbacking. Sure, the completion rate may fool box score surfers, but anyone who watched saw the truth. Empty checkdowns and panic throws that bled the offense dry, snap after snap. These weren't real completions. It was a parade of checkdowns and dump-offs, 3 yards on 3rd and 8, death by 1,000 timid throws. This wasn't quarterbacking. It was the slow dismantling of an offense, one surrendered snap at a time. And the worst part? Pittsburgh didn't even get fancy. They sat in simple two-high shells and dared Gabriel to hit the 10 to 15-yard windows, the lifeblood of any NFL attack. He couldn't or wouldn't, and kept taking the safe underneath stuff, killing drives before they started. By the 4th, it turned comical.